He's a personal trainer and so forth. And when I talked to him, he's got a long time to really grow his business. So, but looking around this room, honestly, I think the age was between 40 and what was the oldest babe? Like 55, 56? Yeah, like the averager was around 54 years old. So when we're looking at building a business, right, around what we do, I think we really got to, you got to remember the Success Club trip are the people that put in the time behind Beachbody, the people that are, getting Success Club points and really moving forward in their business. So the people that were there, they were like successful to some point in their business. And honestly, it looked like the ages were between 40 and 55 were the true business builders at this trip, right? I'm not saying you can't do it at 35, you can't do it at 30, but just by there was probably 20, 25 people in this room, and they were all older people, like our ages. And I'm only talking about it because I don't want you guys to make the same mistake that I did for 2-3 years, trying to find these business builders through the people that are 20 years old to 35-year-olds, where I figured, you know what, at that age they want something different. They want something, those are the go-getters. But if I really look back at this trip, that's not the case. And then again, I changed my target of who I wanted to be, and I chose my target of what I wanted when I started Beachbody, right? Why did I start Beachbody? Well, I started Beachbody because I was going through a divorce. Actually, at that time, I thought if I was healthier and fitter, it would actually save my marriage, right? And then as I went through my transformation, I realized it wasn't about me. It was just, we just separated completely. But then I fell in love with the process of Beachbody and how I was feeling and how it was making me feel, because now I was getting fitter and I was getting more confident. And even though I was a really confident person as a bigger guy at 243 pounds, a lot of the time inside, I wasn't the happiest. I was tired all the time. I didn't have the energy. And then I saw the difference when I lost all that weight and got down to the 190. Now, flipping it, I see some things like just this last week. Food is a pain in the ass. Food can really make you guys feel crappy or make you feel good. Okay, so we went down there, and the first day, like within 24 hours, I was already not feeling good. We got to the airport, and we didn't eat too badly, but it wasn't what I'm used to. Like, it wasn't chicken and fish, right? Philly cheesesteaks. I had the probably first monster I've had in a long time. We had a couple of drinks, and I was feeling okay then, but the next day I was not feeling good at all. And actually, I'm still dealing with it. It's definitely not regular when you're not drinking Shakeology and you're not drinking your water. Okay, like I'm still feeling really, really bloated, really, really heavy. And I've noticed things happen to my body that, like, I've got a huge cold sore right here. I haven't had a cold sore in 3 years. I think food plays a huge part in your health. And I was in Punta Cana, so there was nothing to be stressed about, right? Cold sores usually can come through stress and stuff. I didn't have anything going on into Punta Cana. And then the third day in, this thing started forming. I could feel it. And yeah, now it's full blown. Like, now it's starting to scab and stuff. But I can honestly say I haven't had a cold sore in about 3 years. And I think food really plays a huge part in that. So when we are doing our transformation and we are moving forward, I think we really need to look at those things to see, if certain things are happening in your life. I'm tired, or I'm not feeling well. Benita, you can attest to this, because you really got to watch your diabetes levels and so forth. Food plays a hell of a part in our moods and how the way we're feeling. And if you're not taking care of that, then you go reverse, right? Like, you really feel like shit. And
my favorite quote is that food can be your biggest weapon against disease, or it can slowly be your poison.
And 100%. And Carrie pretty much told me, because we talked about it on the way, we wanted to see if we can survive a trip and not kill each other and see if we can make it through it, because this was our first trip, right? We didn't know. And she looked at me, she goes, I can honestly say I've never talked about poop so much in my life. Because it was like I was trying to go and I was cramping and I'm like, babe, I gotta go poop. And you could tell she was just like, what, again? It just didn't want to come. I don't know what to say. It just didn't want to come out, but the cramps were there and I didn't like life. But every time she asked me how I was feeling, I wasn't going to lie to her. I was like, I'm not feeling good. I got to poop. Like, it was literally like every hour for a good 2-3 days. So, yeah, food plays a huge part in our thing. And when you guys are doing your challenge groups and stuff and so forth, food should be a huge discussion, because we both know we can work out 3 hours a day if we wanted to, but if we're not eating right, guys, we're not getting to where we want. Okay, so you guys saw that I was trying to go through that 12-week transformation. I was pushing hard, but my body just did not want to release the weight that I wanted to release. Now, a lot of people are asking me, well, what do you think that is? I said, well, besides Carrie's muffins all the time, I think sleep plays a huge factor. As you guys know, I don't sleep very much. I sleep maybe 4 or 5 hours tops. It's very seldom that I get a full 8-hour sleep. So I think that plays a huge part. So in Shift Shop, I really have to pay attention to when I'm going to sleep and how much I'm getting. But I was also doing the countdown to competition. So with it working last year, that's kind of what I did. Jeannie, if you're not sure what that is, 21 Day Fix Extreme. Autumn has a countdown to competition meal plan that you follow. And it's pretty much fish and vegetables for like 4 days a week. And then you go back to the 21 Day Fix meal plan on those off days. So I did that for 12, and my body dropped 5 pounds in total, right? So I still felt better. Actually, no, I think it was about 8 pounds in total in the 12 weeks, but nothing like the 25 pounds drop that I had last year. If you guys remember what happened last year, like it just dropped. But I think, I was restricting myself so much that my body was just not releasing anything. So moving forward with your challenge groups and your stuff, if people are not losing weight, really dive into their nutrition with them and find out what is their holdback. So sleep can be one, stress can be another, and then just not eating enough, not getting enough of those calories in, where I was eating 5 times a day, 6 times a day, but fish is nothing for calories and spinach is nothing for calories, right? So I was probably, if I was to do the math, I was probably running at about 1,200 calories a day. And I think that's what was stopping me from moving forward. So that's a little testament that you guys can use in the future for yourselves or with your challenges. Just make sure you're getting enough sleep, make sure your body is fueled properly, and try and stay away from Carrie's muffins. If you guys can do that, you should be good to go. So that being said, you guys know that last month I had a hard month, as well. A lot of us have over the last few months. But you know what? I let it go as soon as it happened. Next day, I let it go. I started moving forward again. And I had a fantastic month. Like I was saying, we added a few more coaches. Coach Basics will start today for those coaches. I just haven't been much on the computer today because we're still trying to recuperate from Punta Cana time. But we've got 3 new coaches that'll be starting that group this week. And I'm excited to see where they're going to go with that. So if you guys have anybody that needs to join this group, fantastic. And I'm just going to go around because I do know it's possible. I do know even when you're at the lowest of the low that you can still bounce back and have an incredible month. Okay, so I ended up helping 8 people last month, and I'm going for 10 this month. So I'm just going to go around the room and see where you guys have been at, where you're at, where you want to be, where you want to go, because I know there's been some talk over the last little while and where you want the business to go for the next little while. I see Patrina's looking for a part-time job now. Tracy, fantastic. She's on the board today with already helping someone. So really, we'll start with you. Where have you been? Where's the struggle, and where do you want to go?
I want to go farther. I'm kind of struggling with I am back on track. I was struggling big time with motivation. And like I've been talking, well, I got Adrienne started, but trying to get her to coach up, it's not happening. Ouch. Punch the table. Go away. Yeah, my motivation. Get out of here. I'm on track with my food. I would say by 99%. But my exercise was failing badly. But I am pushing it now, and I've started the hammer and chisel, so I'm doing really good with that. I am in midst of talking to 2 new girls, Kaylin and Tammy. Kaylin's very interested in dropping some weight. Tammy is starting kind of just on her own. She's got she drinks like a 6-pack of beer a night. So she's going to struggle with, she's fighting that one first. And in the last week, she's already dropped 6 pounds. She said, and then she's going to, when she's got that under control, she'd like to talk to me. I did talk to her once before, and she is interested, and she does like this new access, the all access one. So I'm hoping to get both of them here within the next couple of weeks. I'm going to shoot for that. And I've really stepped up my exercising with hammer and chisel, working on getting a bench and my chin-up bar to really push that whole program. Yeah, and I'm still struggling with how to create a team kind of thing. And I don't push me away from you yet, because I need you. I'm not. I am back on track. I kind of told, where I was falling off to people I've been hanging out with, stuff that I just need to focus on me and my group and my family, and stay on track and make sure I'm level.
Cool. Building a team is like every Beachbody's coach's struggle. So I don't want you to ever get, don't ever get discouraged about it. When it comes to building a team, you have to talk about it. You have to talk about it on your page. Like if you follow Bonnie Engel, you'll see what I mean by what I'm trying to say. Like she really talks about the Beachbody opportunity and benefits, like how it's benefited her life.
Yeah.
From where she was to where she is now. Yeah, of course she went 15-star diamond in 12 months, which is massive. Right, but who's to say we can't even go 2 to 3 diamond in 12 months, right? But you gotta be talking about the opportunity. Like you gotta show the benefits of it. You gotta live it. You gotta work it, and really put in the time. You're gonna get out of it what you put into it, right? And only you know what you're putting into it and what you're not putting into it.
Yeah.
Right? I can come on the team calls all the time and say, you guys have to talk, you got to do this, you got to message people and so forth. And it's not rocket science. Every one of you guys know what you got to do when it comes to that. The new coaches will need a little bit of help. But I'm really focused on the drivers that really want something different for their lives. This way I'm not always coming back and saying, well, how many people are you talking to? Right? Because at the end of the day, that's what matters is who you're talking to and when you're talking and how much you're talking, right? Because if you're not talking, we all know what happens.
Yeah. I'm having a problem with the ones that I do have in that group. I cannot get them to participate in that damn group. What is up with that?
And again, that's normal too. I bet you Jeannie, who runs a group herself before even Beachbody, I'm sure like there's times that you have crickets, right? Like there's times that not everybody's engaged in what's happening, right? That's normal. That's normal. All we can do is show up.
Okay.
Right? We show up, we post, we do what we got to do every day, and at least we know we're trying to show value, right? The people that are not engaged, it doesn't mean they're not watching, because I've had some groups where people are saying, you know what, this is a prime example. Benita's friend Vanessa, she was the quietest girl, right? But when I stopped talking, she was the one that usually reached out and said, hey, I missed you for 2 weeks. Where have you been? Okay. Right? Because even though she wasn't saying anything in groups or nothing, she was still following. She was still watching. Okay. Right? So the same thing with your pages. When you guys are posting food and when you're posting workouts and you're talking family and you're talking fun and You're showing yourself riding a scooter around a play park, right? Yes, I saw that. I see all your guys. Don't think I don't check up all the time, because I do. I see all that stuff. People are going to pay attention to that, right? That's the whole point that's the whole reason why we have a conversation with someone. That's why we send them a private message, because that exposes them to your world, regardless if they answer back. If they've seen it, they see your page. Your page has to be consistent enough that they say, okay, this person just messaged me, why? And then they come to your page and they see what you're all about, right? And that's why I say I don't want you guys poaching all about Beachbody. I want you guys to talk about family. I want you guys to talk about hobbies. I want you guys to talk about trips that you're doing with your significant other and so forth. I don't want you just to talk Beachbody. I want you to show people who you are, right? And where you're going and where you're coming from. So for you, when it comes to building a team, it starts with challengers, right? There will be some times that you're going to find someone that wants to build, like I did with Jeannie. There will be times that you find people like that. But really what your focus should be is challengers. Get them engaged with the group. Get them talking in the group. You can do the same thing that I did with Benita in the very beginning. And it was, hey, I can't make a post today. Do you mind putting the post in for me? Well, what do I need to do? Find something inspirational and post it and say something about it. Okay, yeah, I can do that, no problem. I already knew what the hell I was doing, and I already knew that I could post, but she didn't know that. So when she did make that post, and she did put the words to the post, and she did it, it was pretty much, thanks, coach. And she's like, what? I'm like, that's coaching. That's showing up for the people in the group, adding value to them, and you just showed me that you can do that. It doesn't get any harder than that, right? Everybody puts too much emphasis on doing what they need to do. I know that didn't make any sense, but in my mind it did. You don't need a like page, okay?
No,
you don't need a website, okay? You don't need a blog, right? That's all stuff that you guys can use later to open up your market. But really, at the beginning of the day, I don't care if you've got 200 people on your friends list. That's 200 people you can talk to. That's 200 people you can form a relationship with, because everybody, even though it's not right now, everybody needs something better in their life, right? So it's up to us, and if you really truly care about people and you really truly care to show people value, it's about us to find what someone else needs in their life, and do we, as Beachbody coaches, as family, as friends, do we have something to offer them that will better their life, right? Sometimes it won't be a Beachbody product, right? Sometimes it might not be a challenge group. Sometimes it might not even be a video that we send somebody. Sometimes it could be just listening, right? Because if we can just do that and help change that person's life, so what? We're not making money off of it. Who cares? Right? Because what we do as Beachbody coaches and how many people we help, at the end of the day, always know the amount of money you make is a direct reflection of how many people you help. Right? So if you just forget about the money will come. The rank will come. Everything will come if you put people first, if you serve first. Right? Serve first, everything will come later. Right? The ranks, the money, the trips, and all that is extra stuff. But I'm telling you right now, you don't need a like page, you don't need a website, you don't need any of that extra stuff to build this business, right? That stuff comes later.
Yeah.
And you do that because it's just fun, right? Because now you're owning your business. But if you're not talking to the 200 people that you already have, then why are you starting a website? If you're not talking to the 200 people that you already have, why are you starting a like page? Right? Because we're network marketing. At the end of the day, Beachbody's network marketing is building and forming relationships and really getting to know people and providing them value or solutions for the goals that they have, regardless of if it's mental help, whether it's financial help that they need, spiritual help, or physical help, right? Sometimes it's all of it. right? So when you're looking to build a business, really just focus on sharing your life and sharing what Beachbody's done for you, because even if you don't think people are watching, they're watching. And then how you connect it all is you have to talk to people. You have to send those messages, right? The questions are there in the group. Jeannie, if you're not sure where they are, they're in the Files tab under Create Yourself Fitness. It's called Invite and Questions, I think it was. I can tag you in it later, I believe. But that is the step-by-step. That's the step. Like, if you are ever stuck on how to open up a conversation or how to help people and what questions to ask them, that's the first step. But really, the hardest step is sending some sort of message to somebody and keep going from there. The hardest step is sending that initial message, right? And if you're really truly listening to people and what they need, you won't need the questions guide, because you're listening to what they're saying, right? Listen first, react after. And if you listen first, the question's automatically going to pop into your head on what to ask next, right? That guide is just to help you if you get stumped somewhere, or the conversation kind of went cold, or I don't know what to ask next, or how can I show you value, and so forth. That's what that's set up for. But I promise you, if you start with that, you're going to get good enough that you're not going to need it, because all you're going to do is you're going to have questions everywhere. And really, questions are formed from when you're listening to that actual person and moving forward, right? So business building, create challengers. Don't fall in love with potential. I'm going to tell you that right now. Do not fall in love with potential. Fall in love with the people that are answering your emails and showing up on a team call, right? Because if they can't follow up with the initial email, I don't know, like there are a couple email examples in the group. We've revamped it a little bit. Jeannie actually got one of the new emails, and she went over it, and now she's on a team call because she's like, okay, what's next? And so we still got to do our get it started right call, but she knew there was a team call, and here she is, right? So really, at the end of the day, don't fall into like that. That's a lot of our issues is we sign someone, and then we put all our eggs in that one basket, and we don't sign anybody for another 4 months. Right? You don't build a business that way. Like, if we all look at it as a team, right, and where we've gone, we went from over 100 coaches in this team, and pretty much the main ones that are anywhere right now, there's like 25 of them, right? And that's just active coaches, not even business building coaches, right? So it's just because we fall in love with that potential, and then we throw all our eggs into that one basket, and then we stop doing what we need to do. And I'm just talking from experience. I'm just talking about what I've done in the last 6 months, right? So have those conversations, and just, in Punta Cana, they went around the room, and with the 20 people that were there, and they asked, okay, so what has made you successful in this business? Okay. You know what? This is what I'm going to ask. So far, Whaley, where you've been, what has made you successful? What are the 2 things that have made you successful into getting to where you are now, regardless of rank? But just you've got some challenges and stuff. How did you get there?
Motivation.
Okay.
How did I get there? I made myself do it.
Okay.
I talk to people.
Okay.
Talking.
So is that consistency? Consistency of doing your workouts and showing up and talking to people?
It was, yes.
Okay. Benita, you've got the biggest team on our team. Why are you there? What's taking to that point?
Consistency, follow-up, and conversations.
Okay. Now, Patrina, you guys are still in the game. A year later, you've gone through all the events. You don't have a huge team, but you have challenges and so forth. So, Mike and Patrina, what has taken you to where you guys are right now?
Being consistent and just reaching out to people.
Okay. Now, Jeannie, I know you just started as a coach, but I also know you have your own group going on. To fill that group, how did you get there? Like, how did you get successful in that group before Beachbody even started?
basically, I just started talking to the people that were my friends and family. That's pretty much the group. And they actually started bringing other people in. We've got 21 members in the group now. And they're all, like you said, they're not all talking, but I can see who's seeing and who's looking at the stuff. And I've had them meet me out in public and just say, hey, I'm on your group. We've never met, but hey, So, and then we just start talking from there.
So talking is a big one, right? So we all can see that, from someone that's a brand new coach to someone that's been around with me for going on 3 years now, right? Consistency is the key. But so that's kind of how it went around the room. So a good 15 people started talking and saying, okay, well, I'm successful because of consistency. I'm successful because I'm talking to people. I'm consistent because I'm showing up and so forth. And it got to me, and well, what else do you talk about? Everybody's already said all that stuff. And you know me, I like to be a little bit louder than everybody else. And I said, you know what? That's a fantastic question, but I want to flip it. I want to talk about what stops you in your tracks. I want to talk about what the hard things that happen. Like, when do you stop? What happens when you're not being successful anymore? So I went in, I did a complete flip on the whole room, right? And remember, this is Scotty Hobbs that started this conversation and so forth, and David Atkins, another top coach, and I flipped it. So let me tell you what's going to stop you, because I just went through it. I just lived it. Jeannie, you don't know this, but I, like, under Team Dynasty, which is Scotty Hobbs, and you'll get to know him in a little while, I'm his top male coach, okay? But the last 3-4 months, I've been struggling with this business because why? Number one, I stopped being consistent, right? Number two, I stopped showing up. I stopped having those conversations, right? I stopped showing value to people. And it wasn't until I started doing that stuff again that I started becoming successful. But we all know it doesn't happen on day one, right? Last month, and I said this to the people there, because people are like, yeah, I do 3 invites a day and so forth, and I'm at Success Club this and that. And I just said, you know what, guys? If you're not consistent, if you don't believe in yourself, if you're not in the right state of mind, it doesn't matter how many invites you do, because if you're not doing those stuff consistently, you can do 400 invites and not get nothing, because that's what I did last month or the month before. 400 invites and I didn't get anywhere. Why? Because now you're going after a number, right? I was going after Success Club 5 because I didn't want to lose it. And Jeannie, I know you don't really understand the Success Club stuff. Just think of it, Success Club 5 is helping 3 people. Okay, that's usually our goal. That's what we try to make every month, is help 3 new people a month. And yeah, so I reached out to 400 people, and I couldn't get it. I couldn't do it, right? But it's not because of the work I did last month. It's because the work I didn't do 3 months prior, right? So if we're not seeing success today, that's fine. Because remember, the work that you guys do today with having those conversations and creating consistency and working on ourselves and the workouts and the meal plans and the personal development, it doesn't help us today. It helps us in 3 months, right? And that's the mindset we got to get into, because we struggle. We're like, okay, I'm all in. But when it doesn't happen in the first 4 days, then we're like, oh, this isn't working again, right? You got to go through the hard to move forward. And I proved it. I proved it again last month, because I was stale, but I started the work the month before, and then last month they all came through, right? So Benita, what are your struggles? Where are you at? Where do you want to go? I know you were saying you and Patrina had a good talk about a week ago on where you guys want to have your goals and where you want to be. And I just want you to share with the team where you guys are going, so they can see, okay, this is what I got to do to be successful. Because I think what you told me, if you do it and you guys continue with that mindset, might not be tonight, but over the next 3 months, you're going to see a world of difference.
Well, Patrina and I are success partners, like most people know, on this team. And we both have huge goals, and we both, some of it is tied to funds. Her and Mike are trying to pay for trips and trying to pay down debt. I'm no exception. I have a few things that I want to get rid of too, and namely, in the next little while, I am looking at replacing a job with another job, but it's going to be more of a part-time job instead of a full-time job. So I need to start figuring out my shit to start looking after tracking my business and my money and seeing exactly where I want to be. So the other night, me and Patrina had a really good sit down. We went over the, I can never remember what it's called, but there's a spreadsheet in Team Dynasty that we went through to show us exactly what we need to do to have a number each week, which will give us the number that we want for the year. And so I'm looking right now to build my business. So I'm making at least between $1,500 and $2,000 a month to start with. I need $5,000 a month to replace my synergy income. So I am starting small and I'm making it in little increments, and I'm breaking down exactly what I need for the big into 12-month goals, 6-month goals, 3-month goals, and 1-month goals. And that way I know if I'm hitting my monthly goals, that's just taking me to my quarterly goals. And if I'm hitting my quarterly goals, then I'm hitting my 6-month goals, and I'm hitting my yearly goals, and it'll be constantly moving forward. I'm tracking my business now. I've been paying for Teamzy. This is the thing that's driving me crazy. I am constantly saying that I never have enough money, but I'm paying for all of these tools and I'm not even freaking using them. I've paid for Teamzy for like 12 months already, and it's like $40 Canadian, 20 some dollars US. I've been paying for it for a freaking year and I haven't even been in it for a year. So I sat yesterday and I downloaded the crap out of all of my lists, my Google, my Facebook, all of that stuff into Teamzy, and I started fresh this morning, May 1st, on Teamzy. And so this is like a little program that I think it was a coach that built it, really, that really tracks everything. It tracks all of my conversations and it breaks it down. I put a yearly goal in there, and then it breaks it down into what I need to do and who I need to talk to and how many coaches and how many customers, and constantly helps with my follow-up. Because the one thing that I have a huge following on Facebook, and I have over 1,000 friends on my regular Facebook. My problem with my conversations is I'm sitting here with lists and lists and lists of paper with names on it, and I'm so disorganized that I don't even know who I've talked to next. And when I go on my friends list, I have a hard time figuring out who I'm talking to, because when I take one and message it, then it takes me right back to the top of my list, and I have to scroll through the list again to get where I'm getting fresh names off of my friend list. Teamzy does that for me. It totally sits and it recycles the names, or recycles the follow-up. I set it for a 2-week follow-up, and I follow up with the person in 2 weeks. I still find it a little clunky because it won't talk to Facebook, so I'm copying and pasting my messages around between Teamzy and Facebook to try to deal with it. But I also sat yesterday and I took the invitation guide and I saved a bunch of it in my own scripts, that it's called, so that way I can copy and paste right out of the scripts for Teamzy too. So I am Teamzying it up, and I'm hoping that that will bring me some success in May. I'm leaving in 2 days for a week to Kelowna for family, but I will be still tracking my business and having my conversations and working my business with my Teamzy every morning, just like I always do. And that's where I'm going.
That's fantastic. You got to start somewhere. I think Team Z's program is fantastic. I think it's faulted in only one area because you have to go from A to Z. And I didn't like that part about it because I have friends from all over, and for me to go from A to Z just didn't make any sense to me. But it's because it doesn't work for me. It doesn't mean it won't work for you. What I did, just as another key for some of you, I downloaded my whole friends list off Facebook, so I have it on paper. So when I go to it, I will message them off of it, cross it off my list, and then just kind of follow up through my Facebook. But things still get lost through the cracks because I'm not doing 2 to 3 invites a day. I'm doing 20, right? So it is hard to follow up. But up in the Facebook Messenger, you can see all your unread threads. If you click that button, and it breaks it down. As soon as I have someone that has somewhat responded to me, I write their name down on in a separate folder. For example, this is May. Write their name down. This way, even if I do forget, once or twice a week, I'll go to that folder and just to see where I was at, if I've heard from them, or if I haven't, or if I looked at the message and then I forgot to respond to it because I'm at work. As soon as they respond, that's when I write their name down, because if they say anything, then you know that they're watching or they're listening or they want to talk about something, and you don't forget about them, right? Team Z was awesome. I just don't like their A to Z format. That's the only part of that whole program that I did not like, and there was no way to switch it because I messaged them. I would rather have it where they set up on, when you added them to Team Z, or when you added them to Facebook, because I think once you have it logged in Team Z, they actually, I think anybody you add automatically goes to them, if I remember correctly. I would rather have it as date joined than A to Z, because it's 1,000 people is controllable, right? It's not too bad. But when you got almost 5,000 people on your friends like I do, I just found it was a headache because all I was talking to was A's. And that was like 3 months straight. So that didn't work for me, but it may work for you, but it's somewhere. Team Z is very good because it can break down that 12-month goal. For example, $100,000 a year, you got to talk to 3,000 people which breaks down to 30 people a month, 9 of them being prospects and so forth. Like it really breaks down in how many coaches you need to be following up with and so forth. So fantastic.
And it also allowed me to change my numbers too. So It was telling me for $70,000 a year, which would replace Synergy totally, and would replace half of Harry's income. So it would ease up a whole lot for us. It told me I had to talk to like 4 people, 4 prospects a day, 3 customers a day, and 2 coaches. And I'm like, oh, heck no, that's not enough. Because I usually do 10 people a day, and I usually do 5 customers a day. So I ramped mine up. It didn't tell me what number that I'm shooting for. It still says 70, but I ramped up to what I normally would do, and that's what I have it set at now. So
it all honestly, it all comes down to the mindset, right? We all know when we struggle, we don't go anywhere, right? And you and I are prime examples. When we're not on the game, we're not on the game, and our business isn't moving forward, right? If we cannot sign 1 or 2 people a month to, whether it's a coaching opportunity or whether it's just helping somebody, is our business growing? Not at all. It doesn't matter if we have 12 people under us, right? Because if they're not doing anything either, then our business is still not growing, right? Just from our team alone, guys, I went from, the highest I made was almost $900 in a week, and lately I'm barely making 100, right?
when I was at my peak, I was at $600 a week.
A week, which is fantastic. At making $600 a week.
And that was me as a diamond coach, just about halfway to 1 star.
Yeah, and that's from you just continuing to, sign those 3 people, and then your team signing 3 people, right? But what happens when everybody stops? The business stops. And I'm not just talking about our team. Like, even Scotty's team is way down. Like, his team we went from 20,000 personal volume, right? So Jeannie, I'll give you a little bit of background. Scotty Hobbs has a team of 45,000 people under him. Okay. So when I say 20,000 personal volume, thinking of it as 20,000 people ordering Shakeology. Okay, so think of it that way. Shakeology PV would be about 90 points. So Scotty had 20,000 PV at one point. It ranged from 15 to 20,000. Right now he's running at about 4 or 5, right on that leg, right? So it dropped by 10,000. But what happened? Gina Hunter quit. Terry Fisher's gone. Jenny Joshin isn't doing much. Steve and Angela quit to go do wine, right? So those 5 builders right there. So when they leave, their team leaves, right? Or whatever volume they have. And so that's where all his personal volume went, right? So again, Scotty went through a tough time too, right? So if you're not showing up every day, how do you expect your team to show up, right? And when you guys are moving forward, like Patrina was saying, Sean, I want you to help us. I'm looking to move forward, and I don't want to be where I'm at anymore. And she started moving forward, right? Is it going to happen overnight? It's not going to happen overnight, guys. It's not, as much as we want it to, right? But if you're taking those little steps forward and you're having those conversations with people, you're going to start to build traction. You're going to move forward, right? We might not be a 15-star overnight, but every person you help, you're building your business. But if you're not talking to anybody and you're not showing value to people, you're not building your business, right? It doesn't matter how much we want it. If you're not doing anything, you're not going anywhere. So the key is to show up every day, whether it's working on yourself, with your workouts, with your food, with your family and friends groups. You have to show up, because when you don't show up, you're not moving forward, right? So we'll take this question to Mike and Patrina. Where are you guys at? Where are you guys going? And where do you want to be?
Let's see. Where are we at? Well, as everybody knows, struggling financially, but struggling with our business as well. I'm still having trouble getting people to sign up, and then once they do, getting people all the help they need and getting everything done is always a struggle for me. But diet has been pretty decent. I still cheat fairly regularly, but I gotta let her catch up. And as far as exercise, she took most of last week off, but I stayed on it. So we're redoing week 4 of our program, our Body Beast program. And I'm liking it. I'm finally getting into this program. Still not 100% sure about why he's got us so high on the carbs, but I'm just doing it because that's what the program is, so I'm going to follow it. And then where we want to be is we want to be out of debt. That's the short answer. Yeah, your turn.
Yes, we want to be out of debt. But more importantly, I want to be able to do what the frick I want with my days. Because I love my job, don't get me wrong. But like today, my kids aren't little anymore. Today, my anxiety was leaving the house while our poor puppy cried his little brains out. And I thought, wouldn't it be nice if I just had more time home so that the poor little bugger wouldn't bawl his face off? It sounds silly, maybe, but that's where I was at today. I have not been reaching out to 5 people a day. I will tell you that. You and I talked, and like 5 days later, I found out a good friend and neighbor died, and it completely freaking threw me off for the week. And I just needed to take some time. I still talk to people every day, and I wasn't doing that before. So I've been reaching out to people, and it's always shocking to me, and I have no idea why, when somebody says, I need to thank you. And I'm like, thank me for what? And they're like, well, because I've been watching you, and because I've been watching you, I decided to do this. And they haven't necessarily been doing Beachbody, and they haven't necessarily been going to the gym, but just the little things that they've picked up. One girl told me she lost 40 freaking pounds in the last like 6 months. And I haven't seen her in ages. And she's like, I have you to thank. And I was like, what? I didn't do anything. I'm like, you're the one who did the work. She's like, yeah, but she said, watching you is what got me started. And every time people say that, I'm like, okay, we need to remember how important it is, like you said, to just show up, to share those things, to share our stories. I was listening to the 2 calls from today, the National Wake Up Call with Lindsay about challenge groups. And, you know, when she was talking about just going through the motions with the challenge groups and how she'd kind of put that aside. And I've done that before. And we're doing like Bonita's in a group with me and Juliana right now. And there's probably more activity in that group than I've seen in ages because we're all showing up. I'm making sure to check in with people. I'm talking to them. You know, we're making it fun and interesting. And like our heart is there. And people can tell that. When you're not in it for the right reasons or you're kind of half out of it, people can tell. And I mean, even last week I had people messaging me asking me if I was okay because I was a little bit quieter than I had been because of dealing with my friend's death. And people notice that stuff. Like you gotta remember that people are watching you. Like not just your kids, you know, not just your family, but other people you don't even freaking know are watching you sometimes. And it's shocking to me how that happens. But yeah, like Mike said, I did advertise I'm looking for a job because my goal is to make coaching a priority, but also that I'm sick and tired of being broke and we just need to do everything we can. And I figure the more we do, the more the universe is going to heap on us. So I'm doing whatever I can to get to where I need to be. And I've been listening to, what's that book called? I told you I've been listening to the book about grief, the Teresa Caputo's book, but I've also been listening to The Universe Has Your Back. And if you've not listened to or read that book, you need to. Because just listening to a few minutes of that every day just completely resets my brain when I'm like having one of those moments where I'm like doubting myself. It's awesome.
That's fantastic. So having the belief in yourself that you guys can do this, that's like the hardest thing to do, right? That's the hardest mindset to get into, is saying, you know what, I can do this, I deserve it, and yes, the universe has my back, right? Because it's true. When you throw it out there, when you throw it out to the universe, it will come back, right? So you guys are saying, yeah, we're getting out of debt. I want to be out of debt. You throw it out there, it will come. It will come. And the work has to be put in. That's the only way this business will grow, is if you're talking to people, right? It's the only way. We've all been at a standstill for over a year. And we all have the same thing in common, is we weren't talking to enough people. And how do we track that? The people that are engaged in our groups, the people that are signing up with us, and so forth, right? We got to get back on the track of actually helping people. And you all can do it. I've seen all of you do it. In the littlest ways, you guys are helping people all the time. But I also see when life gets in the way, it's the self-belief that stops you guys. It's the self-belief in yourselves is saying, things are awesome when they're awesome, right? We all know it. When we're happy, we're flying, we're rocking it. It's when you're going through the hardest time that everything stops. And Benita had a conversation with me last month saying, you know what? I'm doing this because I know what you're fucking going through right now with all your bankruptcy and stuff and what life is throwing at you. But you're still showing up and you're smiling on these team calls. I don't get it. I don't understand. Because it is what it is, guys. It's life. Like, what are you going to change? The only thing you guys can change is what you're doing to move forward. If we keep doing the same thing we're always doing, then it's not going to work. But if we change it up just a little bit, and even if the change is up here in your mind, it's going to start working for you. And I have belief in that. And people can say I'm a narcissist or whatever, because I think I'm meant for something greater. I am meant for something greater. And if someone wants to fight me on that, that's fine. Because I don't care what they think. I care what I think. And the same thing goes with you guys. I want to be out of debt. There's nothing wrong with thinking that. There's nothing wrong with going after it, right? Because it's a self-belief in you guys that is going to make it happen. But if you're stuck in the corner saying, I can't do this, I can't send out the messages, I can't talk to people, I can't do this, and I can't do that, then just stop. But move forward, because you know inside each and every one of you have that self-belief that something is meant for you guys. There's a reason why you're still in this team. There's a reason why you guys go to all these events, right? There's something in you that is stronger than a lot of people we're talking to, right? But why is that? It's because you've started something. You've started something, you see where it can go, and yes, life gets thrown at you and it might knock you down for a little bit, but you're still in it because you still know there's something. There's something that can help you out of this business. And if we can take that, Ray Lee, for example, if we can take what this business is doing for us and share that to the world, someone is going to hear you. And someone is going to say, I want that. And someone's going to sign up as a challenger and lose 40 pounds and turn out to be a rock star freaking coach. And if you do that 5 more times, your life is going to change. I don't care what anybody says about this business. 15 stars, fantastic. I will still say it now. You find 5 people that want to be rock stars and take it to that level, your whole life changes. You only need 5. And that's when everything changes, because now you're building a business and you're on fire and you're helping with your debt problems. You're helping with the confident problems because you know that you're building a team. You know you're moving forward, right? But it all starts with this. It all starts with you guys having that self-belief saying, you know what? I can do something. I can do this. And whether it starts with just helping your friends and family in a group and then taking it to the next level saying, okay, now I've got something I can support more people with, then you have that self-belief to move forward. You guys are all rock stars. You guys show up on the team calls. That's out of 450,000 coaches, how many people go to a team call? Not very many, right? When people say, well, the market's saturated, it's 450,000 people. Doesn't mean crap, because probably only 45,000 of those people are doing a single thing, right? And we all know this. We all see this. We all see people on our teams that come on and you know, come on strong, and then they're not doing anything, right? So just think of all the Beachbody coaches like that, right? But you guys are rock stars. You're showing up. You're making changes in your own lives, and you want to change other people's. So what? You're not 15-star diamond. So what? You're not 1-star diamond. So what if you're just a coach? So what if you're an emerald coach? It doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't. All it does is give you guys a little more recognition for what you're doing in the business, right? It gives you a little bit more money if you hit that rank. But really, at the end of the day, rank means shit. It doesn't mean anything. What means something is how many people you're actually helping. How many people are you pouring your heart into? Right? How many people are you guys truly, truly showing value to every day? And if we can do that with the people that we're working with, and they believe in what you're doing, and then they start believing in it themselves, then you just found your rock star. And Benita, you were my first coach. I said that right in the beginning. This chick's going to be a rock star. From the day I met you to the day you became a discount coach, to the day you made that post in the challenge group, to the day I put you on stage and just said, yeah, you're going up in 2 weeks. Get your shit together because you're going up. What? Yeah, no, you're going to speak on stage. Right? And I'm still saying, and I'm going to just be blunt and honest, I'm still saying it now because I said it then, get your shit together because you're going to win $100,000. You can still win that fucking Beachbody championships. I'm telling you that. But too many times you've had disbelief in yourself. And that's what stops it. And I know, guys, I know if anybody knows when life gets thrown at you, it sucks. But that's when you got to move forward. That's the hardest time to push forward. That's the difference between being a coach and being a top coach. Because the coaches that have done that are the ones that are walking on those stage millionaires, because they found a way to get through their struggle and move forward. But you know how you get through your struggle? Is you talk about it. You talk about what you're going through, and you show how Beachbody's helping you get through it. Share your story. Right? That's the very first thing I got Patrina to do when she asked for help. Share your story. What are you reading? I'm reading this. Okay. Your next post is going to be about what you just learned. Talk about it. And she did. And that's where it starts. Work out, talk about it. Read, talk about it. Enjoy family, talk about it. Share your life. Share your story. Share your grief. Share your struggles. Right? Be humble. If you're struggling, talk about it. If you're being vulnerable about something, talk about it. Because people are going to be relatable to you. Like, and my coaches have seen this, heard this already, but Jeannie, the people that you attract, I won't attract those people. Right? We have a different market. People will be attracted to you for a certain thing, where people are attracted to me for a certain thing. Right? Benita will attract different people than Rayleigh will attract. And Patrina will attract different people than you will attract. Right? We all have our own stories. We all have our own gifts and our own, what's the word I'm looking for? Skill. You know, we all have a gift and a skill that we can show. We all have stories. Right? For example, Benita has the story of losing 100 pounds. Right? Rayleigh has the story of losing her confidence. And Beachbody's given her confidence back. Right? She said, well, she was always used to be loud. The last little while before Beachbody came, she was quiet. She lost her spunk. She lost her confidence. And now she doesn't shut up. Just kidding. And then, you know, Patrina and Mike, they've gone to every single event. They're finding their way. But they're going. They're going. They have the life struggles as well. And now they're at a point that, okay, we've done all the training. We've done all the events. We've done all this. Life was just thrown at me again. But you know what? I didn't cower down this time. I might not have done as much as I could have, but I've done a lot more than what I've done in the past. Right? Where you don't know Patrina very much, but when life gets thrown at her, she clams up. She shuts down. And then it takes a while for her to build herself up, whether it's through us as coaches or Benita or Mike standing beside her picking her up. Right? But if you take everything that Beachbody has given us and move forward from it and learn from it, it will help you get through those situations. I am not the man I was 4 years ago. You guys know this. Has there been struggles? Absolutely. Have there been struggles with the team? Absolutely. Have I been the best coach? Not always. Have I been the best leader? No, I'm still learning this shit like you guys are learning this stuff. But the one thing that I've not done is given up on any of you guys. I'm always here. 4 years later, and I'm still here. I'm still here because I still know that there is something here. There's something in all of you guys, and it's going to break. And when it does, this team is going to explode. I have all the faith in the world. Because we just got back from Punta Cana, and I saw the teams, and the teams that are there, they are not any better than you guys. You guys are all freaking rock stars. You just have to believe that you are. And when you believe that you are, you show your team that you are. And believe in them as much as you believe. Make them believe in them. Believe in them. No, that's not how I want to say it. Make them believe in themselves as much as you believe in them. And then that's when the magic happens. Because once people get that confidence and the know-how and to move forward, you guys know this business isn't hard. The hardest part is talking to people. If you can talk to people, it's over. It's simple. But we all know when we're not talking. We all know when our teams aren't talking. And Under our teams are not talking. We know when it's not talking because there's no growth, there's no movement, right? How do we talk? We show up. We show up and do our own workouts. We show up and read our own personal development. We listen to the National Wake Up Call, right? We watch motivational videos. We talk to our Success Club partners. We talk to our friends and family. We just talk. If we have to talk to each other for a little while, then we talk to each other for a little while. But believe in yourselves. Believe in all that you guys do. Believe on where you're going and where you want to be. Because when you believe in yourself, the rest is magic, guys. The rest is magic. There's no reason why you guys can't be huge in this business. There's no reason why you can't make $70 to leave 2 jobs. Or $70,000 to leave 2 jobs. There's no reason why you couldn't make $50,000 a year to bring home a husband that works out of town 3 weeks a month. Right? There's no reason for it. This opportunity is given to you guys. It's what you guys choose to do with it. And yes, sometimes it's not easy. It's going to be hard work. It's not fun sometimes. What we're doing in messaging and stuff, it can be fun, but let's be real. Sometimes it gets daunting. Sometimes it's hard work getting out of bed and showing up every day and making those messages. For example, David Atkins, it was a guy that was at in Scotty's room, 3-time elite. His best friend, he's a lieutenant in New York for the police department. 10 years ago, his best friend was shot and killed when they went to a job. And then last week, the 10-year memorial was in. He said, I had to drive 3 hours to go to the memorial, and he cried all the way there. Then he got home, cried all the way back, and then he got home and he had to, explain the day to the family. He cried again, and he was exhausted. It was a long day. The wife's like, well, why don't you just go to bed, babe? Go get some sleep. And he said, you know what? I'm exhausted. I'm tired, but I got some follow-ups to do. I got some people to help. That's putting people first, right? And we've all sat back and said, you know what? I'm too tired. I don't want to do this. I've done it. I've been there, guys. I still think I can work this business 4 hours a day, right? But sometimes I quit after an hour, if I show up at all, right? And you guys can see when I'm showing up and when I'm not showing up. When I'm showing up, the numbers are there. So we have to self-reflect and say, am I doing this? Am I putting people first? And if you're putting people first, you'll be out of debt. When you put people first, you'll be able to stay home more. You put people first, you'll be able to bring a husband home, if that's your goals. Right? So put people first, but remember to take care of yourself. If you guys can do that, you're going to rock this business. That's all I got, kids. That's it. That's all I have for the week. It says it's 12 o'clock. That's Punta Cana time. I'm almost ready for bed, and I got to go back to my job tomorrow. God, I hate that. Do you guys have anything you want to share? Anything you want to talk about before we end this?
Well, I just want to add one thing. Even though, like you said about, we've been here for a long time, we've been doing a lot of stuff, and sometimes our business and our income doesn't reflect all the stuff, all the effort that we've put in. But the other thing is that for me, the first 2 years I was in the job I'm in now, I was just treading water. Once I got into Beachbody, that didn't just impact me in Beachbody, but it impacted everything I've done at work. And some of the stuff that I've been able to do at work in the last few years, like reviving committees of volunteers that haven't been around for like 10 freaking years, and I've had like a dozen people who didn't do that before me. And now the stuff I'm able to do out in the area I'm in now, where I'm getting requests to go do other things and having Crown, make arrangements with me and do all this other stuff. I would not have had the confidence to do any of that stuff without this, because I needed all that to work on me.
I agree. Yeah, that goes back to what I'm saying. I'm not the same person I was before this all happened. Right? Like I'm completely different. And what Beachbody has given me has gotten me through a whole lot of life struggles. Right? And I'm still pushing through every day. Every day. Beachbody's brought me to where I am right now. And I couldn't be happier, even though life keeps throwing stuff at me.
Beachbody still kept me 100 pounds down going through losing one of my people. How Grey's Anatomy always says you have that person. Grandma was one of my persons, and I just spent the last year dealing with her death. However, that stupid number that would tell me that I had gone past that 100 pounds down. Every time I got close to that number, gaining back weight, because I did gain it, I'd get close to that number and I'd say, I ain't going back that way. And it would drive me to push myself a little forward. So Beachbody's kept me 100 pounds down.
See, guys, Rayleigh, this is getting back to what you were saying. I'm not sure how to find those business builders. This is it. This is what you talk about. What has Beachbody done for me? And be vulnerable. And if you do a live video and you're crying, who cares? Be vulnerable about what it's done for you. Because it's not always about the money. It's not always about rank. Why are you a Beachbody coach? Why are you doing Beachbody? Why? Because it saved my freaking life. If it wasn't for Beachbody, I would have gained 300 pounds and I would have died from diabetes. That's the real truth. Right? And how many people do we know like that are very close? Right? Just share what it's done for you. But be consistent with that. Doing it just once doesn't count because you only show 10 people your story. Be confident enough to share it often and be confident enough to continue to grow. And when you do that, it will all fall into place. It might take, guys, it's been 4 years. We know people that have created millionaire businesses in 4 years. And I'm not there yet, but I will be. And I don't care if it takes me 7 years. First 4 was just practice. The next 3, it's game on. Right? The journey doesn't stop today. You can quit. Absolutely you can. You can quit and you can go sell leggings. Great. Right? Or you can go sell Scentsy. Fantastic. But think about what Beachbody is doing for you. If you ever think about quitting, think of all the options first. Think about why you're quitting. And then look at, well, what has Beachbody done for me? Right? My mindset is different. I'm down a ton of weight. I've got a friendship. I've got community. I got family out of it. At any single time, I can talk to someone on the other side of the world. Right? I've got a brand new coach from the States that 4 years ago I would have never thought I would have, right? And she's not the first one. People are blown away that I'm having coaches from the United States and I'm in Canada. At first, it would have blown my mind, but now it's almost like it's the norm. But 4 years ago, it wasn't like that. I didn't even know where to start, right? But the belief in yourself and the belief that you can move forward, the belief you can be something greater than you already are. That's what takes you to the next level. That's when you guys level up. And you guys showing up to national wake-up calls. You guys showing up every day and doing your workouts. You guys showing up to team calls and showing up for the people you're showing value to. You're leveling up every day. Stay focused and move forward. You guys know me. I can talk all night, but I know everybody wants to go to bed. So go to bed. Think about what you guys want to do and make it happen for the next week. And just show up. Believe in yourselves. Because I believe in you guys. Good night, kids.
I like that.
Not